Okay, I'm here with Barry Lynn. Barry, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fine, thanks. And you are the CEO and co-founder of 3Tera, is that correct?
I'm the chairman and CEO of 3Tera, yes.
Okay, excellent. So tell me a little bit about 3Tera. What do you all do?
Okay. 3Tera is a software company, and we have a turnkey cloud platform that consists of everything from soup to nuts, from orchestration to management to the runtime portion of the cloud. And we sell our product, AppLogic, our flagship product, three ways. We license it to people who want to run private clouds behind their firewalls, and we license it to service providers who want to offer cloud services but don't want to build their own cloud infrastructure, but want software that's already exists that does that. And we have about 30 service providers worldwide who are offering public clouds on our platform. And finally, we have a virtual private data center business where people can lease virtual data centers from us, which consists of hardware in data centers also around the world with our software on them. But we don't own and operate the hardware. We do that in conjunction with data center operator partners.
So who would be some of the partners you work with?
Well, on the service provider partners, our most recent one is the major Japanese telecom, KDDI. They're the second largest telecommunications company in Japan. In the United States, and we have several other overseas. In the United States, there's Layered Technologies. They were actually our first service provider. We introduced the first actually public cloud with Layered back in 2006, rather, a couple of months before Amazon announced EC2. So we actually weren't called cloud then. We called it the computing utility within Amazon. Came up with elastic compute clouds.
Exactly. So yeah, getting back to the KDDI, the Japanese example, that's kind of interesting in that Japan's been a little bit reticent, I think, to jump into the clouds. I was just curious about how that came about and what they're actually using it for, what they'll be providing to their customers. Yeah,
well, KDDI is going to be offering a host of services to their customers. They're actually using it for a product that they call KDDI Cloud Server. And if their customers want infrastructure as a service, be able to provision virtual machines on the fly, they can do that, or a platform as a service, provisioning stacks of software like .NET stacks or Ruby on Rails stacks or Java stacks, things like that, or a whole multi-tier application, so they can be a true deployer of SaaS. And of course, they can also offer their own virtual data centers like we do with our service providers, because they are a service provider. Now, I think your statement about the Japanese now that jumping into the cloud is interesting, because what we've noticed over there is, you're right, the Japanese don't jump into anything during the super hype stage. But they don't ask for things the same way American customers do. Like, they don't say, "What are you doing in the cloud?" They'll say, "How can you help me make my operation more efficient?" Or "How can you help me get applications to market faster?" And they really don't care if it's cloud or does it solve a problem. And I think that's how we sell in Japan. We address problems, and we happen to address those problems with our cloud product.
That's a unique way. We should try that here in the United States.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
And then lastly, what's something that you're looking forward to that you're going to be rolling out in the next year or so, or some capabilities you'll
Well, I think our biggest releases next year, in 2 weeks we're going beta with our App Store. And that's which means it'll be in production early first quarter of next year. That's really exciting to us because our system is basically catalog driven, and you build applications with building blocks from a catalog. And we supply some basic open source building blocks, but you can put anything in the catalog that you can license, and it could be any operating system. So what we're now doing, now that we have a critical mass of customers, and we have a little over 4,000 companies that are running at least one application on an AppLogic cloud now. So, in the IT world, 4,000 doesn't sound a lot, but in a nascent market like cloud computing, it's pretty sizable. So what the App Store is ISVs will be able to publish software into our catalog, and when people drag them into their applications, they'll be able to license them by a time period. Instead of getting a regular software license, it's up to the ISV. They can license it by the month, the week, the day, even the hour. And then we'll pass the lion's share of that license fee toward them and keep a little for ourselves. So the App Store is literally, and we have about a half a dozen ISVs participating in the beta, and we're launching the beta in 2 weeks. I think our most exciting release next year is going to be what I referred to before as our Cloudware release, where you'll be able to use our management and orchestration on top of anyone's virtualization or anyone's computing fabric or cloud engine. So.
Very cool. Well, Barry Lynn, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.